Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Dimitrios here again here from OBIPIXEL. Today I'll be talking to you about the brand that I've been working on for a while, and it's with regards to health, physically and mentally. And like I've been mentioning in all my videos in the past, I've got the website ready, so I'll be launching a new website with regards to my journey with the health and the Carnivore and Lion Diet. And at the same time, I'll be launching a third brand, or a second brand really in this case, with regards to mind and health when it comes to your mind and your psychology and everything else behind it. So the one website I'll be talking about today is going to be goodcarnivore.com. Okay, I'll repeat that, goodcarnivore.com. And the second one, which will be the same website, but the second piece of information, the second part of this brand will be a brand that I've been working on for a long time because I do life coaching, and as in life coaching, as in people and their mental state and everything. And that brand is Don't Say It, Do It. And it's on the website don'tsayitdoit.co.uk, which again forwards and redirects to the same website of goodcarnivore.com, because I wanted to have both in a singular website. So this is going to be a bit of an update to the website that I'm launching and the details behind it. And at the same time, it's going to be something that I want to sort of introduce. And I've been talking about this website for a while, and I've been wanting to bring this live, and it's been a while. I've been a little bit busy, so thank you for your patience. And I wanted to really also give you a progress update on my lion diet and how that's been going, because officially today it is 138 days. I began my journey on the 19th of February 2024, and it's now just over 4 months, so it is 138 days. And I'm pretty happy with the results, and I'm going to take you through some of the results that I've gone through and give you a sort of a breakdown and tell you what's happening. So first of all, let me take you into the website so you can get an idea what I'm talking about. So I will drop you over across onto the site, and let me pop my little face in here so you can actually at least see me when I'm talking. So let me break down what I've put together. So this website, you can access it from the domain goodcarnivore.com. Okay, so if you go to goodcarnivore.com, you'll be able to see the data and the entire website, and it's going to be a combination brand between goodcarnivore.com and don'tsayitdoit.co.uk. In fact, both domains go to the same website. And these are two brands I've been working on for quite some time. And essentially, I've been doing the life coaching and sort of normal sort of coaching for many years. So Don't Say It, Don't Do It is been around for a long time, but Good Carnivore is relatively new. So let me break down what this is all about. So on the 19th of February this year, I really changed my life, and it became a really interesting sort of scenario where I wanted to really change the way I do things. And it actually happened because of an accident that I had that pushed me in this direction. So I'll break it down. So with Good Carnivore, the idea is I'm going to be putting information onto the site with regards to rebuilding your health, improving your body, and feeling the best that you can be. Because ideally, you want to be the ultimate human that you can be, right? That's the point. So you want to improve your health and also improve your mind. Yeah, that's why I've combined these two brands together. And I'm giving you a little bit of a brief of what we'll be doing under goodcarnivore.com, as in this site over here, together with the Don't Say It and Do It. And the idea of this Don't Say It and Do It is to transform your mind, to achieve clarity, and then to reach for the stars, basically, to be able to achieve anything. So that's the concept behind this. You can always subscribe and get the latest details, and that's all I do with this. I mean, I follow GDPR guidelines. I will never sell your data to anyone. I just use this so I can email people and tell them about progress updates. That's really it. And occasionally some really interesting things that I come past. Now let me break down and show you what I've done on this website so you get an idea. You see, it's very well, so it's very good and well to talk the talk. Okay, but it's quite a different thing to walk the walk. And that's the idea of this. So I've broken down my journey. So if I go to this little section here for my journey, you're going to get to see what really is involved in this, and why I managed to get my life back, and how you can get yours. And if you just try it for 30 days and see what happens, you'll be seriously surprised. So as I've said in the title, yeah, proof's in the pudding, right? It is, absolutely. Proof is in the pudding. And really, my journey began, and I give a bit of a rundown of how everything worked, but for a long time, for about a year now, I've been looking at trying to get healthier, because I was really healthy when I was young. When I say young, at the ages of 18 all the way to 21, I was particularly fit. I used to do all the sports: rugby, swimming, athletics, cricket. I was a Latin American dance champion in Southern Africa. I was, a dance champion, can you believe it? And quite proud of that. But I was always really fit when I was young, and quite a solid guy. And at the end of the day, when I got married, and then it was a horrible time, and I got divorced, it was a really bad time for me. And then it's taken me a long time since then, since the age of, say, 28 in total, to get to where I am today. And I'm now 50. So I may not look 50, but I am 50. And I was born in 1973. And it all began last year, and essentially I was trying to get healthier, and I was pumping in additional vegetables and additional fruits, and just trying to do what most companies have been telling us to do all our lives, and have a balanced diet, and eat lots of vegetables, and have your fruits of 5 fruits a day, or 2 fruits a day, or whatever, 1 fruit a day. And it was just, I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And being South African as well, half Greek, half South African, I do love my red meat, and I've never had a problem having more meat than normal. But this time I was bumping up my vegetables and fruit intake, and I was getting worse. And I was putting on extra weight, like, really quickly, and I was feeling terrible, and I was getting all sorts of problems. I started to develop blood pressure, palpitations. I started getting stressed. I mean really stressed. I started getting anxiety. I started having cholesterol problems. I started having boils and sores and fungus in my body and pain all over my body. And I was like trying to figure out what was going on. Anyway, fast forward to the 16th of February this year, 2024. I had an accident, a first-degree burn accident in my hand. And if you've been watching my videos in the past, you'll know what I'm talking about, which led me to go to the accidents and emergencies in the Wales University Hospital. And I was there for that evening, literally from 12 midnight all the way till 7 in the morning, being attended to by incredible nurses and doctors. I can't fault them. They're amazing. And communicating with them constantly, up and down, looking at the burns, looking at what happened. And it was a first-degree burn. It's pretty intense. And got to the stage where I met so many doctors. I must have gone through like 3 or 4 doctors. And the situation was that they were prognosing, I'd be between sort of 8 and 10 months to recover. They didn't know whether I would get any nerve endings and feelings on my wrist and my palm. And it was looking a little bit gloomy, but they were optimistic. But nevertheless, I had to prod on. By the end of the morning, around 7 o'clock in the morning, I had one final doctor. Bless her heart, you know who you are if you're watching my videos. And she did mention something to me which really blasted right past me, but I do clearly remember it the day that I went back home, that next morning. Anyway, she mentioned to me that, look, you've got to increase or quadruple really your intake of water, your liquids, and she mentioned the protocols that I needed to follow, basically. So quadruple your water, and also do yourself a favor and seriously increase your protein intake, especially protein that has collagen. And I was like, okay, that's probably just red meat. But I was so into trauma, I was in so much pain that that information really went past me. Anyway, that next morning, 7 o'clock, I got home. I had to drop in for a bit of sleep. It was very difficult sleeping. I maybe dropped in for about 2 hours. I was exhausted. I was on painkillers. I was in serious pain, completely wrapped up pain. I looked like a boxer for a while. Anyway, and after I woke up and I was a bit dazed, and I was like thinking back about the whole situation. And if you watch my previous videos, I do talk about this and I go into much more depth. My brain was thinking, okay, what happened? What's going on, and what's really, what did I go through? And I was trying to sort of process everything. And I was thinking back about the conversations. And the funny thing is, approximately 3 months before this accident, I was researching online on YouTube, looking at just basically just research on, different diets and that, because I've been trying to do proper food eating. I was eating my vegetables, eating my fruits, I was working out, I was doing properly, all my stuff that I needed to do, I was sleeping well, and yet I was getting worse and worse and worse, eh? And I was doing some research and I found a couple of YouTubers, Kerry from a company called Homestead now, and he's doing a documentary on healing humanity, and it's all about carnivore diet. And I saw his journey and I was like, wow, I was bewildered by it. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And I watched through him Dr. Chafee, Dr. Berry, Dr. Baker, and steak and butter gal as well for some recipes. And I was like, gosh, I've tried everything in life. I'm 50 years old and I've tried every single conceivable possible diet you can possibly think of, trying to get back to what I was when I was 18. And I've always been a solid person when it comes to being mentally strong, but I wasn't really applying that to my physicality like I used to when I was a teenager and when I was in my 20s. And I was just worried. I was thinking, you know what? I can handle this. I love my meat. Let's try this. What's the worst that can happen? Now, I'd already taken blood takes. I already took my blood tests because I had to for the burn. And moving on from that, I decided to start this, and I began my journey on the 19th of February 2024. Very, very clear, distinct days. First week was very interesting. I started feeling better, even though, bear in mind, right through this process, you can see when I'm writing here, I was going to the doctors every second day to redress the dressing and put new dressing on. It was excruciating pain every day. And obviously, during this time, bear in mind, I couldn't cook properly. There's no easy way to use the left hand. I couldn't clean, let alone I was trying with one hand. It was hard to shower, it was hard to bath, it was hard to do even workouts. I couldn't. I had to be resting at home. I couldn't work easily because I'm a computer guy, so an information security guy and a digital forensics guy, so I couldn't type. It was really complicated. And luckily I'm using Apple machines, so I could dictate the information to the computers. But it really was a very, very challenging time. But I began the journey, and I began the whole idea of buying red meat, and began with different steaks and that. And I bought myself an air fryer. The amount of mistakes that I made with the air fryer in the beginning, but I managed to get to the point now where I know how to use it perfectly, and I can create amazing steaks out of it. And anyway, so the whole procedure went through, and first week was different, second week was better, and I was slowly, going back and forward to the doctors, unwrapping. They were seeing progress. I couldn't see the progress in the beginning, but I took photos every single time, and which they're a little bit gory to show on my website. That's why I'm not going to proceed with that. I mean, it's a little bit intense. I will show you my final results because I've got my hands right here, so I'll show you that. But it was pretty heavy. I got to the third to fourth week and I started feeling detoxing. I started feeling fluish results, and you get to see the breakdown of all my previous videos, and I'll talk about this in more length. And this is what I'm relating here. I'm relating the story. And I realized, okay, following these people on YouTube, I started to look at, I need electrolytes. I need to get electrolytes, put in my water. As soon as I started doing that, I started feeling better. All the way, right through to halfway through the process, about a month later, I didn't need to go back to doctors. I was going to the clinic here in Barrie, where I live in Wales, and didn't have to travel all the way to Cardiff, which is 35 minutes to 40 minutes away. And I was like, okay, this is better. I can go to nurses. And then slowly the nurses were seeing progress. And at some point in time, about a month later, the doctors and the nurses were looking at the recovery, and they couldn't believe how fast the recovery was happening. Of course, I hadn't mentioned to anybody what I was eating, right? I was on this diet. I was in the lion diet. I took the approach of not just doing carnivore. I went all the way to do the lion diet, which is basically red meat, salt, and water. That's it. And why would I not enjoy it? I'm South African. I love my meat. So for me, it wasn't that difficult to do. It was a bit tricky in the beginning, getting rid of vegetables and fruits, especially fruits, and dairy products, but coffee and tea and all that was tricky. But at the end of the day, it all happened. It all disappeared at some point, and I was recovering really quickly. And fast forward to yesterday, Or at least a couple of days ago, I went back to the clinic, and basically it's 137 days yesterday, 138 days today, and suffice to say that a month later I stopped needing to dress the wounds, actually, and I started allowing more open, so less and less dressing. And then by the 9th week I was literally no longer dressing the wounds, and then it was recovering slowly. And then I wasn't going back every second day to third day, I was going back once a week. Like 2 weeks ago I stopped going, and essentially when I got there that day, I remember it clearly. I was meeting up with the nurses, and then the nurses were confused, and they were thinking, wow, the results are so tremendous. They were just worried, if they were going to do the diagnosis correct. And then they called in the other 3 doctors they had, and the doctors just looked at me. We did some blood tests, looked at the wounds, and that looked at the healing process, and they had all the photos of all the progress. And they just looked at me and they said to me, we can't do anything for you. And I was like, oh, I was taken back. Those comments were like, can't do anything for you. Whoa, what's wrong with me? What have I got? They said to me, nothing. They said to me, we've taken a look at your blood results, and we've also looked at the wound, and we're seeing how it's working and how it's recovering, and we can't do anything more for you. I'm like, what do you mean? They said to me, I was like, okay, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean you can't do anything more for me? They said, well, we've done everything we can. Your hand has healed. And I had nerve endings feeling. I have pretty much everything's up to scratch, and then that's what it looks like. I will zoom out to show you. And yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit discoloration here, but I can see everything, and I can feel, and I can use, and it's pretty crazy. And they said to me, yeah, we don't have much else we can do for you. But they did question me. They said to me, so what have you been doing? And then I was hesitant to tell them that I was on the for the last sort of almost 19 weeks I've been on a lion diet, and I did tell them about that, and they literally didn't say a word. They just shook their heads, turned around, and walked out. The doctors. The nurses were just giggling on the corner, really silently, but they were giggling. And then the one nurse comes to me, says to me, well done, I know what you did. I overheard the conversation, and yeah, my husband, one of the nurses told me, my husband's been doing that for a year and he looks fantastic, she goes. And I'm like, that gave me validation. So fast forward to yesterday, which was 6th of July, 2024, 137 days later. My hand is 97% healed. Almost 100% healed. It just needs a bit of changing in the color of the skin. And I've lost a total of 45 kilograms, which sounds incredible and ludicrous and counterintuitive, really counterintuitive compared to what I've learned in my life in terms of food intake and diets and all that, which for those of you who are not on the metric system, that's 99 pounds. 99 pounds in roughly 4 months. And I have so many other benefits, it's unbelievable. And I actually have no loose skin either, which is quite crazy. So my recovery defied all the odds. And instead of taking 9 to 10 months or 8 to 10 months, it's taken me just under 4 months. And I attribute all of that to the lion diet. So really, I break it down right to that. And then I've broken down my details behind it, my little story behind this. And I've shown you my progress with the different videos, the links to my videos on YouTube that I've done. Of course, this will be my next update, which will be probably in the next couple of days to really break down that updates and tell you everything that's happened. So I was like this 4 months ago. That's what I looked like 4 months ago. And then this is what I look like today. And I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful and proud of this, and I cannot believe that this is now happened to me, and I can't believe I've been lied to by the food industry for so many years, for 50 years of my life, and it makes me angry. So this is one of the reasons I built this website, because I want to help other people in their journey. The other thing I've also provided is a resources tab where I've got great videos of interest. And this is just a bunch of people that I've followed along the way that have spurred me on, that have given me the insight to understand their journey, to understand what's coming up, to understand what I need to look out for. And it blows my mind. And Kerry was my main inspiration, together with Dr. Berry and Dr. Chafee further down here. It's just unbelievable. Dr. Baker as well. He's an incredible person. And I hope one day, I mean, I've met Kerry from Homestead because we had a live session on YouTube together. And thank you, Kerry. You've been an inspiration to me. And Dr. Chafee and Dr. Baker and Dr. Berry, I'd like to meet you guys at some point, and I will make a point of doing that, because you guys changed my life. And if it wasn't for people like you who are outspoken, who are going against the grain and really sort of targeting the information out there correctly to people, I wouldn't be as healthy as I am today. And I also want to thank Jordan Peterson and his family for really being taking the hits from the world and really talking the truth, because I stand behind you 100%. I follow Jordan Peterson, everything he does. I've read his books. I've gone to watched most of his seminars. Same goes for his daughter. And 100%, I'm 100% Lion. I understand. I understand exactly what you guys are saying. And another person I have major respect for is Joe Rogan. I do follow him quite a bit, and I've recently he's done a great show with Dr. Baker, and just it'll blow your mind. So for those of you not sure about this journey, don't listen to me. Don't listen to what I say. Listen to other people who have been doing this longer than I have. Listen to doctors that have been doing this longer than I have. And just get your research done. And don't just listen to people like myself, because, I'm still new at this. I'm still learning. The other thing I've also got in here for you is practical tips and resources for the carnivore diet. What my journey was. And essentially I was on the Lion diet. And this is my little handy tips to you. Okay, so I'm breaking down things like, okay, what types of people sort of inspired me. These are the 5 that inspired me, and these are the links to their channels. And please check their videos out. Open your mind. Understand what's really going on. When I went through my detox, I went through and I had to get some electrolytes, and this is the information I managed to get from not just these 5 videos, but hundreds of other videos that I've watched from so many other people. And these are some of the electrolytes that I used during my detox period, and on occasion I have them because it really boosts your magnesium, it boosts your salt intake, it helps with getting over the detox stage. It's really important. And these are just 2 different types that I used. I also talk about ruminant meats. If you're going to do the Lion diet or any kind of carnivore, stick to any animal products as much as possible. Don't have any carbs. Completely cut out your carbs. Okay, carbs and sugar, bad idea. Trust me. In the beginning, later you can always introduce here and there, but be cautious, because we are addicted to sugars and carbohydrates from a very young age, and it's very difficult to stop this. But over time, you'll see that your body will naturally not want that information, that kind of food. So stick to ruminant meats, because they have more than one stomach, and it allows the food that they eat to clean out and become completely toxic free. And then at the end of the day, when you're eating the meats, you're eating the perfect possible meats. Of course, I stick to ribeyes because they are my favorite, in my opinion. Avoid also going to supermarkets when you're buying your meats, because when they cut the meat, package it, wrap it, all that, 1, it's not the right thickness, and 2, you're probably going to be cutting off most of the fat, because that's what people want, which is wrong. You must keep as much animal fat on it as possible, and the worst is they charge you money for that. Extra money. Rather go to like a Costco or a Carrefour if in Europe, or some wholesaler, get a big slab of the whatever cut meat you want, and then don't cut it. Let them give you the big slab, take that home and you cut it, because it'll be probably a third of the price, if not half of the price. And yeah, you can control your sizes of your slices that you want to cut the meats in, which I love, obviously cutting quite thick pieces of meat, because that's the best way to have that particular type of meat, especially with ribeyes, because you're going to save money that way. Absolutely going to save money that way. And you're also going to get the best products, because you're going to have the right amount of fat on it, and you can control that. Increase your intake of fat. I made that mistake in the beginning. I really did. I made that mistake in the beginning because I hadn't gone through enough research, and I went back through these people. I looked at their channels. I looked at their videos. I saw many other people in there that were either having problems with, for example, their bowel movements, and they weren't having as regular bowel movements, because of course we're stopping fiber from fruits and vegetables. We're only getting sort of the fiber from essentially the minerals and that, and the enzymes and all that from meat. So your bowel will change. And I was either not eating enough fat or was eating too much fat. So when I was not eating enough fat, I would be a little bit more bloated and constipated just in the beginning. And maybe I wasn't going to the toilet, say, every day. I was going maybe every second or third day. And I was like, okay, that's unusual. And then when I was having more fat than usual, it wouldn't be the normal natural bowel movement. It would be a little bit more, soft and liquidy. Eventually, you figure out your body. You figure out how much fat intake you need. And then when you get that right increase in fat, it'll become absolutely normal. And by the time I got to week 4, I was fine. The 4th week, everything was fine, and I have bowel movements every day. So to those of you who are naysayers and morons on the internet, and you think that your bad comments and stupid sort of idealistic sort of approaches that you say, oh, you're going to die if you don't have fiber, you're going to die because of this, you're going to die because you're not going to have bowel movements because you won't have bowel movements without fiber. You guys are wrong. And also, your comments don't do anything for me. I don't get angry about it at all, because I've been working with people and I've been teaching people for a long time, since 1989, okay? I work with so many different types of people, so many types of cultures, and I've grown up in a country which has been complicated in Greece, and also grown up in South Africa, where we're multicultural. You think I give a damn about politics and gender ideology and all that? I don't. Not even political correctness, because I don't look at people and define them by very small details, like your gender, your identity, all that nonsense. I look at people as human beings. We're all humans. We have a brain, we have a body, we have organs, hopefully enough of them and the right ones. Hopefully our body functions. But we have insight. We are over and above nature, okay? We all understand each other. Well, hopefully we try. And we all have emotions. We are human beings. That's your identity. That's how you identify to someone, whether you're black, white, green, blue, or male or female, identify as a toaster for all I care. It doesn't matter. That means it's all meaningless, that you're a human being. That's your identity. Learn to live with that. So at the end of the day, whatever your comments are, they're stupid because they're unfounded. Go do your research. Figure out. Do this. Do the diet for 30 days. Then talk. So plain and simple. And I've got information about what I use for my cooking, and especially with the animal fat. When you want to bump it up, have butter, have tallow, beef tallow. I love beef tallow, and I've got a nice detail on the beef tallow in my blog, so you can see the link there that takes you to the blog. The other thing as well, how do you what I put in here, I want to help people out. How do you deal with overeating or undereating? Well, here's the thing. You can't really overeat, because once you get to that stage, when you're doing this journey of yours with carnivore or lion diet, your body's going to change. Your body's going to start giving you different signals. So ultimately, you're going to be in a situation where you will you must eat the meats till the point where you're satiated. In other words, where you're looking at the meat, you go, oh, I don't want to have any more. That's when you know you're done. That's when your body says, I'm okay. Because if you don't get to that stage, you may be under eating, and you may be not even getting enough fat intake or salt intake, and that could actually become a problem for you. So get to the point where you eating just to the point where you're satiated, and then you're done. And then I promise you right now, you might think, oh, I don't want to see meat again. Trust me, the next day when you wake up and you're getting hungry again, you will go, oh, I want that steak. Oh, I want that meat, because that's how your body is, okay? So the other thing is, drink a hell of a lot of water, and then don't forget to take salt with your food. If not, put salt in your water if you have to. But more importantly, don't forget to have salt, because a lot of people actually forget this. So quite important to have your salt, because it's really quite important. A lot of people think that, oh, you got to worry about your cholesterol levels, you got to worry about not having too much salt. Ladies and gentlemen, do your research online. And do your research with not just online. Go and get books that have been written in the scientific community for years. If mankind doesn't have salt, they will die. If you do not eat salt, you will die. You can live without food for 30 days. You can live without water for a couple of days. Without salt, it's the same thing. If you're without salt, you can die. Without enough water, you will die. So, this is where you've got to really understand that actually salt is quite important. So don't be scared to salt your food. Of course, you can figure out what your salt thresholds are, but you don't be scared of doing this. And then, of course, Another thing I wanted to also reiterate to people to sort of help them in the journey, which is what helped me, is to keep as hydrated as possible. I will have half a liter of water at night before I go to bed, and I'll have another half a liter when I wake up in the morning, because it keeps me hydrated through that process. And you just feel better. You feel fantastic during the day. You feel fantastic during the night when you're sleeping. When you wake up, you feel amazing. Keep that going, because I promise you it makes a difference. And then, look, I didn't do this in the beginning because I'm pretty strong-headed. Quite stubborn as well. So at the end of the day, I could have joined a community. And actually thinking back now in terms of, hindsight analysis, I think if I had joined a community, point in case, Steak and Butter Gal from YouTube, she's got a great community with a lot of these doctors I'm talking about and a lot of these people. If I had joined a community, I probably would have had faster results. But you know what? That was just my journey that I took. If you want advice, you're not understanding how to do something, you get stuck, or you're concerned about something, these people are amazing. They created such a wonderful community. Get in touch with them. You're working on your health and you're working on your mind, right? That's an investment. Do it for yourself. A lot of these are free anyway. So at the end of the day, you got nothing to lose. And you get to meet incredible people that have gone through this journey before you. Learn from other people. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Like, if you want more hints on that, I do have my coaching session, which I'll talk about next, a bit further down. The other thing, of course, I wanted to do as well is, in the beginning, as much as I love my meat, I was very confused with regards to, what type of meat can I get? What type of red meat can I get? And what kind of recipes can I make? I thought I was going to run out of, different types of recipes I was going to have to put together. So I did a bit of research. I wanted to learn everything about the beef cuts that are out there, because of course I love my beef. So I've broken this diagram down, and I've given you an example of from a ribeye steak, which is my favorite, going all the way to T-bones, porterhouse, sirloin steaks, fillets, rump steak, flank steak, skirt, beef, brisket, flat iron, and of course tomahawk. And I put this little diagram together so I can show you the different meat cuts, and I've given you my little research behind each one of those and what sort of the things that I've discovered, how to deal with the cooking of them, what is inside that kind of meat, why it's good for you, why it could be interesting, how to deal with it when it comes to the fat intake, what kind of stuff is amazing. And of course, my two favorites are the tomahawks and the ribeye steak being number one, tomahawk being number two, because they're very closely tied together. I would probably then push over to either a porterhouse or a T-bone after that. Now, I've taken each one of those and I've broken them down. Ribeye steaks, T-bone steaks, porterhouse steaks, sirloins, fillet, rump, flank, skirt, beef, brisket. Brisket is definitely a beautiful thing for a roast and even soups, which I've done some really nice broths with beef brisket. Flat iron, tomahawk, my second favorite, and then flank steak. So you've got so much option here. So understanding the different beef cuts will make you understand what kind of stuff you have available. And believe me, you'll never get bored of this. The other thing I've also done as well is I've put in a very important section in terms of the journey, and that is, you can't just assume that by only worrying about getting your physical body in health and getting it into check, that it's enough. The idea is that you are an entity. You are a human being. Okay, irrespective of who you are, what you are, color, gender, whatever the heck you identify politically or non-politically, that all means nothing. You're still a human. So at the end of the day, all of you works together in synergy and symbiosis. So your mind works with your body and your body works with your mind. Okay, and actually when you start improving your body, you'll start to get clarity. Your mind will improve, and then when you start improving and working on your mind, it'll help you and boost you and back up what you need to even get more surgeon precision type of focus when it comes to working on your body and getting that kind of determination and diligence and accuracy with what you need. So there's not just point, this website's not just there to sort of deal with, the meat intakes, and increasing the health of your body. No, I want to actually help people with their mental state, getting your mind right. So I've broken it down so that you can basically use this as sort of like a guideline. Look, this stuff works for me. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, find your path. Find the way you do things, and it'll work for you. But I've always found that these kind of steps are pretty interesting. The first thing is tell yourself to slow down. Stop what you're doing to analyze if something is the correct course or not. Your body is a habitual thing. It is habitual. It learns. If you train it, you can relearn it. You can make it retrain itself. You can reboot it. And then write down what is troubling you. Yes, people. Yes, young teenagers as well. Kids, write down stuff on pen and paper. Write it down. Write down what's troubling you. Prioritize things. Give it a scoring system of when you need to deal with something. Write it down because it's quite important. And things like the slowing down, the writing down, all of these will assist you in this process. You know, there's no need to worry about something if it hasn't happened yet. There's also no need to worry about something if it may not happen. The probability is more than likely it won't happen. Only think today. Be in the present. Be in the moment. As much as we love the past, or we may not love the past, you can't change it. And you can only learn from it. As much as we would love to know the future, you can potentially change and alter your course so that you can have a different future, but you don't know the future. The only thing you do know is the present. Concentrate on today. Yeah, you can plan for tomorrow, but concentrate on today. Be present. Don't just exist. Live. Okay? And that's what I've broken down these steps into sort of 9 pain points. I call them pain points because you've got to go through pain to understand what the problem is so you can deal with it and overcome with it. So look about these different things that you can look at. And you can, I just figured out more than 9 points, but I mean, just break down the 9 points, 9 points for yourself. You can have more than that. I always have a lot more than that. But I mean, if you have 9 points, it's great. So the most important is, how does it affect you physically today, whatever that issue is? How does it affect you mentally today, physically and mentally? How does it hinder you in any way today from carrying on? Does it hinder you from any way of carrying on tomorrow? Is there an existing solution to fix it or not? Cool. If you cannot see a solution, can you see a potential solution possibly? Write down the possible solutions. And then with the solution, solve the problem slowly today or in the future. Doesn't matter. Write it down. If you don't write it down, you have no plan of action. Put a plan of action together. Take a look at my past videos. I've got 2 videos in there. One to do with how do you deal with planning and how to deal with stress. It's quite an important set of videos. It'll guide you in how you can plan out your day. Okay? Believe me, it works. I've been streamlining these things for the last 37 years that I've been in a career. And I am 50, so I do have a bit of merit when it comes to understanding certain things. Then make a decision to solve the issue. Start at the beginning. Solve it slowly, carefully. As soon as you've solved it, mark it down that it's been solved. And the reason I say solve it carefully and slowly is because you don't want that issue to come back up again. You don't want it to happen again. You want to deal with it, and then you want to learn from it so that next time anything gets close to that, you know how to deal with it and you don't make the same choices, right? Plain and simple. Then once you've solved, write down that you've solved it, so that you've actually fixed the problem, so that one day at the end of the year, you can look back and say, look at all the things that I've done this year. You see, if you document everything, you can look back and say, wow, I've had an incredibly productive year. Then who gives a damn? Who gives a 2 hoots about New Year's resolutions, which 99% of the time people don't complete? Who cares about, oh, I'm going to start something new in New Year's. I'm going to start something new next month. Or I'm going to start something on Monday because next week I'm going to do it. Listen, procrastination is a killer of innovation. Okay? Do things today because tomorrow either may never come or it's a little bit too far away. And maybe something else will happen tomorrow and you just don't get to do what you really want to do, which means you lose out. Okay? Tackle each day, each issue, same way, exactly the same way. Deal with it carefully. And look, people, as I mentioned in this breakdown here, there are no mistakes in life. You may think of them as mistakes, but they're not, people. Come on. Let's be honest and real with ourselves here. In life, we make choices based on what we've learned and what we know. Sometimes the choice goes right, sometimes it goes wrong. We only know when it's gone wrong, when it does go wrong. And that's when we say, oh, that was a mistake. Yeah, okay, but that wasn't really something that you can call a mistake. A mistake is when you know willingly that you're doing something wrong and you know that it's a mistake. No, when you make choices in life, there are no mistakes. You will eventually figure out if it was the right choice or the wrong choice. Now, what you need to do is do some course correction, readjust, dust off the dust, figure out, fix the problem, and just make sure that you don't take that choice again lightly. Because then you know that you can learn from it and then you'll improve, plain and simple. At some point in time, you're going to reach the stage where your choices that are positive outweigh the choices that are negative. And I hope that's sooner than later, as long as you train yourself to do this. Don't be complacent. Then also a very important thing, which I see a lot of my friends suffering from. They go through really difficult hardships as well, like everybody else does, but they really don't know how to forgive themselves for certain choices that they make because they treat themselves badly, or they constantly wonder why I did this and why did I do that and why did I do this and how did I make that mistake. I'm going to say this over and over and over again to yourselves, to my friends, family members, whatever. Learn to forgive yourself first. Then you can figure out how to deal with forgiving other people. And more importantly, change yourself because you can't change anybody else. Right? You see, here's the one thing about this. If you change yourself, become the ultimate human being that you can be. The ultimate human being. In other words, you are as best as you can be for yourself. But that's not enough. Okay? Those of you who are out there who are young enough, who are old enough, who are thinking weirdly, who have political agendas, ideologies, all that absolute narrow-minded, small thinking of a human being, and you're putting yourself in a silo, and you're making yourself identifiable by whatever. Oh, I identify myself as a he or a her or his or whatever, or they. Look, listen, you identify as a man, but you're a woman, or you're a woman because you're a man. All that stuff, right? That's meaningless because you're still ultimately a human being. So that's your identity. But what makes you who you are is how amazing you are, how or as close as you are to being a superhuman, the best possible human you can be for yourself, then how you can be for your family, how then you can be for your friends, your colleagues, how good and human you can be with your country, because you got to be patriotic as well, and how good and you can be with the world, across the world. Within that, how good you can be with your community, and overall, how good you can be under God. So at the end of the day, and with nature, of course, that, people, ladies and gentlemen, that is your identity. That is who we are. Human beings have that identity. The fact that we can be individuals, we can strive to achieve all sorts of incredible things. We can work with other people and strive and be even more successful in achieving incredible things. We are inside incredible families who brought us to this life, irrespective if you've had a difficult time with your family or an easy time or a wonderful time. They're still your family. You've got great friends, hopefully. If not, you can always find great friends. And you'll learn who your best friends are, because they don't look for anything in you because you've given them something. They will give you things because they want to, not because they have to. They will give you their time. They will give you their patience. They will guide you. They will tell you, hey, you're doing something wrong here. You need to change your ways, because, they're friends. That's a friend. That's a true friend. They need to call you out on your bullshit, basically. And then at the end of the day, you need to be amazingly good and amazingly conscientious and respectful and loving to also not just yourself, your family, your friends. You can also do that with your colleagues, but also with your community. Community drives camaraderie. All right, comradeship, basically. It drives rapport. It drives the ability to be part of something bigger. You'll get a lot of fulfillment when you work within a community, believe me. And of course, your country. I'm half South African and I'm half Greek. When people ask me, what are you? They say to me, what are you? Are you Greek or South African? I'm going to say, I'm human. I'm both Greek and South African. And now that I live in the United Kingdom, I'm partly British too. Why shouldn't I be? At the end of the day, I'm a citizen of the world. So I am a human being. That's how I identify. I identify as that. Especially when people online say to me, you know, what are you, he or his or whatever, you man or woman? Really? Seriously? Do you think that narrow-mindedly? Are you that siloed in your mind? Haven't you adventured out and tried to become the best possible human you can be? I'm a human being. That's my identity. But the difference is that I love everyone. I don't see the need to be angry with anybody. I don't see the need to be upset with anyone, because everyone has their situations in life. Everyone has their lives, their circumstances and whatever. We're all amazing. We've come from the stars. We're made out of carbon, people. We should be rejoicing in life. We should be living, not just existing, and not just trying to identify ourselves and put ourselves in a little box. It's really silly. So that's why I'm trying to help people in this process, in this journey, not just physically, but mentally, because I've always had a strong mental mind, but I've never adjusted my physicality to be able to balance these two out. And that's what I realized during this journey, that as great as I was when it comes to mental health, because I've been very strong, I've been able to be a licensed penetration tester, digital forensics professional, an information security professional. I've been able to do an ethical instructor. I've been able to do a consultancy in the fields. I've been able to be an author and write books. I've been a professional videographer and photographer. I've been a dancer. I've been so many things. And I'm doing so many other new things now because I've always been mentally strong. But I've been unbalanced. And this journey has created me, or given me, the ability to balance my physicality together with mental health. That's why I'm putting this together, to help at least some of you overcome the barriers that the world gives us. Okay, so we've got to learn to forgive ourselves, and just search online, go online, look at people, watch YouTube. YouTube is an incredible place. It's a treasure trove of information. Today, YouTube is like the library that I used to have when I was a kid. I used to want to learn things, I would go to the library or speak to people that knew about these things. When I was a young kid and I wanted to learn about integrated circuits in IT, and you know, the little ICs that pretty much make a computer brain today, the CPU and the GPUs. And the RAM and all that. And I was confused, and I went to the libraries and I was picking up the books and I couldn't figure out enough information was there. So what did I do? I called up Apple as a young kid. Geez, my parents freaked out because I called from Southern Africa all the way to America. I called up and I spoke to somebody, and I asked, look, I need to get this information. I want to know about these things. I was curious. And I actually spoke to a technician, and he explained the whole thing to me, and I was so thankful because I got the information from the right source. Well, today, YouTube. It's incredible. You have millions of people making great videos. Okay, there is garbage out there, but 99% of the time, you're going to get incredible content. Learn from it, people. There are amazing people out there actually giving you insights. That's why it's all about. It's the whole idea of YouTube is the new education platform. It's fantastic. And most of it is free. So, and that's why I'm planning put this practical tips and resources for mental health, because I want to help people that way as well, so you can balance your mental health with your physicality and your physical health with the food. Because that's what I've realized in this journey. That's what I've realized in this journey, that I've realized that actually now I'm balanced. And now there's so many things I'm able to do, which is unbelievable, that I wish I had done this earlier. That's my only regret in life. I've done many other things wrong, and I've, had choices in life and they've gone wrong, and I've done amazing other things that have gone right. But you know what? I've not had regrets apart from this one. And that is, I didn't do enough research when I was younger to figure out the lies and the problems in the world, and why we've been told such garbage about the mind and being healthy, and about the body and being healthy. Why? So yeah, that's why I put these tips together on the website. Then I've also got a small little section, which by the way is going to get even bigger, where I put a bunch of documents of debunked research papers and great sort of videos around this. And there'll be more videos later. But the idea is, I've pinpointed some really interesting topics. Now, I've got access to documentation going back to 1945. 1945. Okay, that's well over 50 years. It's close to 75 years. Right, so we're looking at, that's how long the lies have been continuing. Now, let's not go that far. Let's go back to 1960, when the Sugar Research Foundation in the United States, funded by Harvard scientists, conducted a literature review with doctors and researchers, and they bribed the researchers and the doctors to lie and not divulge the risks and the secrets of sugar. And then what they wanted to do in this documentation is emphasize and increase the dangers of fat, animal fat, without foundational evidence, okay? that animal fats now became the industry evil, and then they were pushing carbohydrates and sugar, all because the industries wanted to sell sugar and make short-term gains. Absolute moronic situation, which is now dictated and basically kind of, in a way, shaped public perception and scientific perception for the last how many years? Close to over 50 years now. Here's the document. It links straight to the website, and you can take a look at some really interesting articles. I didn't put this article together. Recently, there was an investigation done, and I say recently, in the last couple of years, and investigators have figured out and have revealed the information as being manipulative. It's definitely been debunked. They were caught lying, and it's documented. Can you believe it? And that's basically also changed the way the medical industry was taught. That's disgusting. That's evil. That's a absolute fraudulent activity. But we can't stop it. There's billions and billions behind this. And I've made a couple of videos on this about the big companies behind this, right? BlackRock, Stateside, okay, Vanguard, JP Morgan Chase, there's many others. Because it's a big industry. These companies own close to $350 trillion of the total 400 and something $30 trillion circulating in the world, of all the money of the world and assets and companies, and they basically control the narrative. And because they've invested in all these pharmaceutical companies and these companies that are paying for the researchers and all that, they basically can change the markets and dictate what's happening, which explains everything. Because it's not just the worst thing like nepotism, but it's even worse than that, because it's completely altering mankind. And it's a mistake, companies. Those companies are making mistakes because it's very short-term thinking. It makes no sense, because if you, as conglomerates, focus on getting people healthier, you'll be able to sell meats and highly advantageous products after that, and you'll be able to make more money. People will be healthier, which means they'll spend more, they'll be happier, they will travel more, they will spend more, they will be fitter, they will live longer. Effectively, they will spend more. Your mind is stupid when it comes to narrow-minded thinking. So makes no sense to me. From a business perspective, a short-term thinking is bad investment. I don't give a damn how intelligent you all are. You're idiots. Those big companies that are trying to shape the world, including Sugar Research Foundation and so many others. I just read in a document the other day, the FDA in the United States is proposing that they can create menus and meals with 90% processed food and sugars that can actually be good for you than red meat and fat and so on. That's ludicrous. That is absolutely lunacy, that they can actually misguide the public. I mean, we've already been misguided and hoodwinked when it comes to COVID-19. Don't get me wrong. I lost 2 family members because of COVID-19. I'm not saying it wasn't a proper virus and it didn't kill people. It definitely did, because we did not handle ourselves correctly in the world. We were not prepared. Why? Because we're concentrating in the world for the wrong research. If we had prepared ourselves and we were researching, as human beings are designed to research, we could leave AI and machine learning and robots to do all the work for us, and we can just concentrate on research. And if we do that as mankind, because everyone is designed for research, we have the curiosity of what we call the human condition. We would be today a space race traveling from one planet to another. But what are? We're stuck on the 3rd planet from the sun. And we're concerned about climate change, and we're concerned about the weather changes, we're concerned about famine, we're concerned about identity politics and gender politics and absolute nonsense. Makes no sense. If we concentrate on actually bettering mankind, the benefits are for everyone. Humans are like normal people, working people, whatever the class you are, whatever the culture you are, whatever the company you are, whatever organization you are, capitalism, all the corporates, it'll be for the best of every person, every company. It'll absolutely propel mankind. But what are you doing? You're concentrating on feeble things. You're concentrating on narrow-minded thinking. Anyway, sorry about the rant, everybody. My apologies. But some of these things get rev me up. And you know what? It's hard time people speak out. I'm not scared of speaking the truth. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm not saying that these companies like Vanguard and State Street and BlackRock need to close. Of course you can't do that. That's stupid. That's stupid as well, because the world needs to function. Money needs to roll, needs to change, needs to be used. Okay, these companies have to be around. They are doing what they're doing. These companies are protecting their businesses. Of course they are. I mean, I'm a businessman. I understand. There's nothing wrong with these companies, but sometimes, you know, you've got to look at not just your own interests. You've got to also look at the world's interest. And actually, when that happens, you become the better company, and then you won't build mistrust. You won't, like now with the politics and politicians around the world. Why are people so divided? They're so divided because we've been lied to. People don't like to be lied to. Okay? Especially being taken our freedoms away. Come on, seriously, think about it. If you go back in history, what's the most important thing that mankind has tried to achieve for the last 1,000 years? Freedom. Anyway, coming back to this. So, the other thing I've also done is I've put a small little comprehensive guide in terms of guiding your health. And I've broken down the carnivore diet and the lion diet just to give you guys a little bit of a booster to sort of the kind of things that, you know, keep in mind what you got to do. So I've broken it down as the diet behind it, the mental health aspects that you need to work on, family dynamics, because not everyone's going to try and do the same diet as you. You know, you can't just push people into this. You got to just work with your family, community involvement, spiritual well-being, because you've got to work at all those aspects because you are one complete entity. You're a human being. And then, of course, a little bit of a comprehensive guide for the lion diet, which is a little bit more restrictive. I love the lion diet. It makes me feel at my optimal condition, and I will continue with that. On occasion, when I travel and I have to go to customer locations, both here in the UK and in Europe and in the States and in Africa, unfortunately, sometimes I have to drop down to the carnivore diet. You know, and I'm not saying I will never have carbs and that. You know, if it comes to pinch and I'm dying, I'm going to have something, but it's not something I'm going to concentrate on. What my main objective is to completely zero out all the necessary foods, and I'm going to try and stick to the lion diet as much as possible, which is what I've done for the last 138 days. And anyway, I've broken it down again by diet sort of structure, mental sort of health that you need to take a look at, family dynamics, community involvement, once again, spiritual well-being, and just some tips for both the diets, you know, just to keep your brain right. And this leads me into the next section of coaching. So also at the same time, I've got a little section for frequently asked questions. And this is where I've broken down some of the questions and answers that I've given some of my followers and subscribers, which I want to thank you all for you on the YouTube platform and on Twitter or X. And I'm very thankful for all of you, and really quite, I'm in awe, actually. I'm awe-inspired because, gosh, I've now reached 4,500 subscribers, which I never thought I ever would. And more importantly, finally, in this month, YouTube's beginning allowing me the process of monetization. I won't get really any sort of income until 2-3 months' time, but it will be very minuscule because at least I'm starting the whole process. So it's quite nice that I've been given the option now. I have the ability to be monetized, which is wonderful. So it can keep me going, make the videos, build this website, add more information, go to these seminars, speak to these people, conduct interviews. I mean, you know, we've got to pay for all these things, but I want to give that information to people for free. You know, and for me to be able to do that, I need some kind of support, even if it's just a click to say, I'm subscribing. That's more than enough. I don't expect anybody else to do anything for me. I make enough money with all my other consulting work and all my other work that I do. I don't need necessarily any other money. I'm just doing this because I'm enjoying this, and it's actually given me my life back. So I want to help people. I've always been a person that wants to help people, and why not? If I can help one more person in this world, it's a dent in the world that I can make. That could then, that person help other people and eventually becomes exponential. The idea of paying it forward for me is very important in life. Very important. Now, they asked me a whole bunch of questions, you know, like what's involved in this diet? Do you eat any carbs? In carnivore, what can you not have? You know, what do you drink? Coffee and tea? Of course not. I stopped giving up on, well, I gave up on coffee and tea a while back. Are you regular in bowel movements? All that kind of stuff. And then many questions come through about all my benefits. So I did explain quite a few of those benefits in my videos, but let me break down some of the 20 out of the 100, over 100 now of benefits that I've had, which is, I've been documenting each one of them because I need to keep a track history of everything. And these are just some of the top 20 things. First of all, I lost 45 kilograms in under 4 months. Yeah, it's a lot of weight, and I feel amazing. I've gone from a 2 extra large, a 2XL clothing to a medium, which is what I'm currently wearing now. It's absolutely insane. I need another 20 kilograms and I'll be back to what I was when I was 18. And I'll probably lose those 20 kilograms by the end of this year. And I'm not going to go in very quick on this. I'm going to take my time because I'm enjoying the journey. It's fantastic. As long as I feel great every day, I don't give a damn what I weigh. The scale doesn't bother me. I maybe weigh myself once every 3 or 4 weeks, just because I want to see what's happening. Otherwise, scale doesn't bother me. My clothes, when I look at the clothes and how I look and how I feel, that's what I care about. And gosh, if I carry on like this, I'll be even better than what I was when I used to play rugby. I don't have any more blood pressure. Cholesterols are gone, although I've got good cholesterol now, which is great. My eyesight's improved. Yeah, in 2001, I had LASIK surgery because I used to have very thick glasses. I was a geek, right? And my eyesight was deteriorating last year. After so many years of having that surgery, it was slowly now becoming a problem. And I was getting a bit hazy in the evenings when I was driving, and during the day I wasn't seeing so well. The last 4 months, I am back to what I was. I don't know what's happened. I've got 21/21 vision again. I don't have the halos that I used to have at night. When I'm driving and I could see the halos around the lights, my eyes have improved. Wow, it's incredible. And I can handle the sun a lot easier without sunglasses, which I've never been able to do since the surgery. My skin tightened up all over my body, including my face. It's tightened up. I mean, I've had pretty good skin all my life, and I look after myself, but the skin around the face and the body itself is tightened, and I don't have any loose skin from the weight loss, which is incredible. I'll probably at some point have some loose skin, but it won't be like terrible, you know. I no longer suffer from hay fever. Oh, what can I say about this? 27 odd years I've been suffering, almost 27. It's been as long as I've been in this country. So no, not 27, sorry, 25 years, sorry, my bad, I need to change that on the website. But I did suffer for about 2 years before I came to the UK, but it was very mild. I was 2 years suffering in South Africa, a little bit of hay fever, but it was quite mild. And when I came to the UK in 2001, I started suffering really heavily till last year. Well, till the end of last year, basically. And I was like, oh my God, medications, eye drops, nasal sprays. I've done everything. Benadryl, Claritin, you can possibly think of. I've even gone to doctors and nurses and locations. I've had local honey. I've tried everything. Nothing was working all these years. And I used to look like a blowfish. I would blow up between the months of February all the way to July. I just couldn't enjoy my holidays. I couldn't enjoy my time. Couldn't enjoy my work. I would get major migraines. This year, when I started doing this diet, the lion diet, the lion eating way, because it's not a diet, okay? I didn't have any hay fever, but I didn't even realize because I was so concentrating on trying to recover the hand and trying to, concentrate on having this diet and eating like this. And I'd lost track that I hadn't had hay fever. And then I got to this July and I was thinking, I didn't suffer from hay fever. But then I went back and I looked at all the weather reports and there were major days of hay fever outbreaks and whatever. And I was like, I didn't have hay fever this year. That really made an impression on me. I was like, okay, well, that's a new thing. That's definitely something really cool. So I was like blown away by that one. So in total, it's about 27 years of suffering. Yeah, I no longer need to take any medication for any illnesses. I've stopped all the meds. I don't take anything. I threw away everything out of my cupboards. I got nothing in my cupboards when it comes to meds. Don't need them. I no longer use, which is a really funny thing, I don't really use deodorant anymore. Unless I have to go to play like some kind of match or something where I'm going to really, really sweat. But even then, the funny thing is I don't have any fiber toxins anymore in my body. I don't eat vegetables or fruits or whatever. So I don't get those smells. And so many people online, just trolls basically, absolute morons, saying, oh yeah, but if you eat meat, you're going to have bad breath. You're going to have this, you're going to have that, you're going to have smells. I haven't had any of that, people. None of that is problematic. My own doctors and nurses have checked me out. And my girlfriend has even said to me, I've had 2 girlfriends in the last 4 months, and it's like, wow, well, you've broken off the one and I had another one now. So at the end of the day, I don't use deodorant, and they smell me and they go, oh, we don't want deodorant, we can smell your natural odor and we love it. I'm like, okay, cool. Or at least the girls have said that. So, it's been great. I don't have to wear deodorant. Brilliant. Fantastic. I no longer have any sores and boils. Oh, this is a big one. 3 months before I started doing this, November last year, after eating so many vegetables and fruits, I began to have the most unusual thing. For the first time in my life, I started having boils and sores underneath my armpits and my legs and my back. And I was like, and my thigh and behind me. And I was like, what is going on here? Is my body in full of toxins? What's going on here? And I was really in pain, to the point where it's breaking and you have to put plasters over it and you had to put creams, and couldn't close my hands easily, couldn't do this easily. I was like, it was a disaster. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 50 and I'm falling apart here. What's going on? Well, it's like, just after I turned 50, I started feeling like this, and I'm like, okay, when I started doing this on the 19th of February till now, all the sores are gone, all the boils are gone. I had fungus on my body that's gone. I've got one little piece of fungus still left over, but that's going anyway. You can see it's diminishing, but it's just the time of the year, which is hot, and it comes back. But fungus is a very difficult thing to get rid of. And 99% of the things have disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, there's not even signs. I used to have holes. There's not even signs of that. They're just completely healed. And it's like, just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I love it. And I took my blood takes before, obviously, I started all this because I had to, because of the burn, right? My burn in my hand. And now recently done 2 weeks ago for the purpose of just to see the discovery and all that. And I went to the doctors for the results, and my clinic down the road here. And literally, the doctor saw me again. They said to me, you're back again. I said, yeah, I'm just back to get my results of the blood takes. The person looks at me and he goes, there's nothing wrong. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong. I had all these issues. Yep, there's nothing wrong. And by the way, looking at all the different levels that you have and everything, you got the metabolism now of a 25-year-old. I'm like, excuse me? I am 50, Yep, you pretty much have what we see in 25-year-olds. This time, I shut my mouth, I smiled, and I said, thanks, doc. I walked out. That's all I needed. And great. So I feel like I'm 25. I do feel like I'm 25, but at the same time, my bloods are fine. The blood takes amazing. And I was like, okay, cool. Keep your blood test. I couldn't care less now. I know where I'm going with this. I used to also struggle with sleeping. I was being an IT person. I would be a Batman, essentially, work late nights, and I would struggle in the mornings getting up. Always, for all my life. I would need 7 hours, probably close to 8. At some point in time, last couple of years, I've been getting close to sleeping 5 to 6 hours, sometimes 7, because I'd learn to use special sounds at night, which would help me sleep and all that. But I wasn't really doing the healthy way, and it was okay for a while. But then once a week, I would have to drop out. Like on a Sunday, I'd have to sleep in late and that. Now, today, with this particular diet, gosh, first of all, I don't get tired easily, and second of all, I just pretty much sleep 5 hours a day. So I usually go to bed at if I go to bed at 11, I'll wake up 5 hours later. If I go to bed at 1 o'clock, I'll wake up 5 hours later. I literally will get up within 5 hours and I feel fantastic. And here's the thing, when I go to bed at night or whatever time I want to sleep, I don't feel tired. Like I don't go, oh, I'm tired, I'm done, the whole day's been heavy. I don't get tired now, which is crazy. I mean, I've always had energy, but I just don't get tired. I'm like, okay, but I might as well sleep now because I need the sleep. Apparently, I don't need the sleep because I can drop with the 5 hours and I can get up and I can be in a machine. Absolute machine. Like today, it was in mid-afternoon, it was a Sunday. I was like, it was about 5 o'clock. I was thinking, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was thinking, I've had a great day. I've been out walking, I've done things, whatever. You know what? Let me just drop like 2 hours, have a bit of sleep, boom, get up, feel the gate. I mean, I was excellent. And I'm probably going to go on for the next sort of, I don't know how many hours. It's already 11 o'clock at night when I'm filming this. And I'll probably go to bed at like 2 in the morning because I'm not working tomorrow. So at the end of the day, it's great. It's fantastic. I can enjoy my 5 hours. And then because I've got those extra 2 to 3 hours, I can do so much more with my time. It's unbelievable, and I feel amazing. And I don't deprive myself anymore. I don't have this one day a week where I have to drop out, you know? Or I don't get lethargic during the afternoons. I don't. I just get my 5 hours and I'm done. Or sometimes, 7 hours, that's fine. But usually it's 5 hours, which is insane. Absolutely insane. I haven't been sick. I haven't had a flu since I started the 19th of February. But, I went through the detox period, which I felt like I had a flu, but I wasn't. That just needed a bit of electrolytes. So I haven't had a flu since then. I haven't been sick. I've been surrounded by people that I work with and colleagues and people that have had COVID and they didn't know they had COVID and they suffered for weeks. And so many other people that I've been surrounded that have been sick and had the flu and are coughing and sneezing and COVID-19 and all that stuff. I haven't got sick. I haven't caught COVID. None of that stuff. I don't know. My immune system meets the right criteria, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird, really. I don't get cold like I used to. I mean, I live in the UK, and even though we get hot days here, on occasion, especially with Wales, there's lots of rain sometimes and a bit of wind. And in the past, I used to feel the cold, and I always thought, I lose a bit of weight, I'd be thinner blood, I wouldn't have enough fat, I would feel the cold. And yeah, last year I was feeling it. This year, no. Like the other day, I went out with shorts and a t-shirt. I wasn't even wearing a jacket. It was raining. It was windy. And I looked around me and people were walking around with jackets and long trousers. And I was like, am I feeling weird yet today? Why am I not cold? And I realized, oh my God, I didn't take a jacket. Huh. And I was like, okay, well, that's new. I'm not feeling cold. And then also when I'm in the sun as well now, I'm naturally getting a tan back like I used to when I was in South Africa, because I was always in the sun, and natural sort of skin tone. But for many years in the UK, I became white-skinned. Well, now I'm sort of slowly getting my, I guess, melatonin back. The idea is I'm naturally absorbing the sun, and I don't get sunburned very easily now, which is really quite cool. Because now we've got a bit of summer. I'm getting good days in Wales. I live down the beach over here, so I can walk around the beach and go swimming. And at the end of the day, I don't sunburn. I'm not even wearing suntan, although some people do. But I used to have to, even in the UK. So that's pretty cool. My skin absorbs the sun easily. I don't get tired easily, like I said. Since I started, I have, by the way, fasted twice in terms of 7 days and 7 days. I've done that twice and it's been amazing. I felt incredible after the 7 days. The 7th day, I did feel like I needed food. And then last week, I did fast for sort of 3 days, just a little bit of a boost. And I said, how am I going to buy meats and that for the end of the week? It was around Thursday. I said, no, I won't eat anything on Thursday or Friday or Saturday. And I went today and I went to do some shopping and I purchased some tomahawk steaks and some ribeyes. And then I had tomahawk today, which is brilliant. Fantastic. I feel amazing. My teeth are getting stronger. My voice is cleared up. Hopefully I sound a bit deeper. No, it's not just the microphone. And yeah, I feel like an absolute $1 million. And then I've answered a couple of other questions here as well. I went all the way down to question 10. So these are not the only questions. There's hundreds of questions, but I'm just going through each one of them and I'm going to add them to the site. The other thing I've also done is I've set up a blog, and this is where I'm going to add all kinds of interesting things that I come across or articles that I come across and some of the cool products I've looked at. This is the beef tallow, by the way, that I use. You can try any beef tallow you like. You can make your own beef tallow. From the beef that you cook, that it drips off, you can just collect that, put it in a nice little jar, put it in the fridge, and at some point when it goes all yellow, that's the one you want to keep. The other stuff, the oil, throw it away. And at the end of the day, you got yourself beef tallow. In this case, if you don't have it, this is the perfect way to cook steaks. I love this tallow. And then in the beginning, I was using this Elementi electrolytes. No, I don't have affiliates to this. I wish I did, but I don't. Elementi, if you want to become affiliates with me, or you want to allow me to be affiliate, I don't mind doing it because I 100% endorse your product. It's great. I wish the price wasn't that much. It was a £50 product, but I mean, they lasted for 3 months, so that's fine. But I love this particular range. I mean, they've even got ones that are watermelon and whatever, but no, I want raw unflavored because all I wanted to get in my body was milligrams of sodium, potassium and magnesium, which are the electrolytes, and you pop that in a little sachet in a nice 1 liter water and you just drink it. I've now finished those and I've moved over to this one over here, the electrolyte powder. Again, I'm once again not affiliated with them. You can get this on Amazon. It's like £15. Don't know what that is in dollars, what, $12 or something. It works perfectly fine. It's the same kind of product. So those are the things I have on my blog. And then of course I've added this section for coaching. So I've broken down, I'm going to be doing live streams anyway. So look, like I said earlier, I don't expect anybody for any additional support or any funds to come through with things like super stickers and super chats, whatever, in the live streams. It would be wonderful. I would absolutely 100% thank you for doing that if you do. And it's great because it's all going to go towards helping this, building this website, supporting the community, helping me make these videos, going out there and doing interviews, all that kind of stuff with this industry. And of course, not just physical health with food, but also mental health. And that's where all this money is going to go to. I don't need that kind of money as a career. I've got enough money I'm making with my other brands and my other companies that I run. I don't need money for this, but this is just something that I wanted to put together because, one, I just need a basic subscription. If you want, you can just jump onto my channel. This is my channel with all my videos. I don't just make normal like videos for food and stuff. I do media, tech, and lifestyle. There's my channel on YouTube. You're more than welcome to follow it. You're going to get to see what I used to look like. There's the video of what I used to look like. That's 4 months ago. And what I look like now. And that's an incredible change, okay, between that and that. And that was a great video I did, which was I lost 50 pounds at 50 days and I was a 50-year-old. I thought that was very cool as a video. Anyway, more importantly, my basics little channel. And yeah, a simple subscribe. There's all the support I need. I don't need any more than that. But I will be doing live streams and that will have its own monetization and whatever if you feel like supporting further. More importantly, I will have group sessions, which will be great. And then private one-on-one sessions I've set up on purpose because I've been asked by so many people, look, do you do any coaching with us? I'm new at this, everyone, when it comes to the food. You know, I've only been doing this 138 days. And look, whatever I've learned, I don't mind passing on this information and guiding people. Of course not. Absolutely, I'd love to do that. So for good carnivore type stuff, for food intake, I've created a 30-minute sort of schedule, appointment little book. And I've also created a 1-hour session if you want a one-on-one private session with me. And same goes for the Don't Say It, Do It brand, which is all to do with mental health and helping you get through life coaching, which I do that professionally anyway. So there's a 30-minute slot and a 1-hour slot. And by the way, the only reason why I have a small little fee for those is one, because I want to have a basic rate so that I can deal with just paying for the Zoom calls, because I want to have the Zoom subscription fee for the month. It's really the only reason I'm doing that. And then just to pay for that subscription to keep it running, basically, and then and also do the live streams. And then at the end of the day, just to have a little bit of that money when it comes to my time, because I'm obviously taking time away from my normal work. But it's mainly to put into this website, 100% for the website, really, and also to pay for Zoom calls, and also to boost the channel and to really get a lot more articles, do more research. That's all. I'm not expecting to make money out of this, but it's to help you. And I've been asked to put this together, so yeah, you can book private sessions with me, no problem whatsoever. And look, if you can't afford those, doesn't matter. Send me a message, chat to me on my YouTube channel, ask me questions on there. I don't mind answering. That's free anyway. No problem. That's the point of this. And by the way, when you get your private one-on-one sessions with me, you can bring an extra guest. The extra guest doesn't have to pay. Of course not. You want to have 2 guests? No problem. It's not a problem as long as I can at least pay for my Zoom subscription. That's fine, because Zoom costs money every month. But that's it. That's all I do it for. I don't do it for any other reason. And of course, if you want to know a bit more details about company information, you can always get in touch with me via this part of the website. Those are my details. That's where you can get hold of me. Those are my email addresses. That's my phone number. There's my WhatsApp. That's where I'm located in Barrie. I don't keep telling people where I am. I'm a security professional. I make my living on information security, license penetration testing, red team, blue team attacking for companies. I do RT consulting and services, project management. I do digital forensics, teach and do online training for companies. I build courses, I develop courses, I write books as well for kids and teenagers. I'm a professional photographer, videographer. I do so many things. I get enough money with those things. But at the same time, I'm highly technical. So I'm not scared of putting my contact information on the website, because you think I care about if an attacker gets my email address and tries to crack my credentials and tries to get my information and tries to do phishing attacks. This stuff is not going to work with me, people. It's not going to work with me. I've been a hacker and an ethical hacker these days since I was the age of 12 years old. Trust me. You can try to your best content, and well, good luck on that, because my credentials across every single system that I use change every 7 days. All the time. I rotate everything all the time. I have specialized equipment, specialized applications that constantly rotate my credentials. And at the same time, even if you try and attack my systems at home, you just won't get in, because I have 3 individual firewalls, all configured with different edge systems. Good luck. You know, I'm pretty secure. I know what I'm doing. So at the end of the day, no, I'm not scared of putting my details online. You can find me easily. Just look on Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn. Not scared. If you're scared of putting your data online and you're not understanding what you need to do and what you shouldn't do, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do, just get in touch with me. I'll give you ideas, hints, tips. There's always ways to protect yourself. All right, so that's what I wanted to do with this particular site. I wanted to give you a little bit of insight as to, you know, the breakdown of what's involved here, what I'm going to be doing in terms of my journey, you know, my different videos that I have on YouTube, my resources that I have available to you, especially, you know, things like the different great videos that inspired me. I mean, that's a great place to begin. My practical tips that I had to go through for the different things that I had to do, things like the beef cuts. Why not? You got to know what you're eating. Okay, and you don't need to have grass-fed stuff. You really don't need to have grass-fed. You can go and maneuver yourself and get the normal type of beef cuts. That's why I've put them all down here, so you can get an understanding of all of them. They're all great, okay? But if you want to get the ultimate solutions, the ultimate results, ribeyes and tomahawks, of course, are amazing. You know, things like practical tips, the debunk stuff, all this kind of stuff is going to be available to everybody. So that's what the idea of this website is. And by the way, if you're concerned, if you look in the frequently asked questions, if you're concerned about cost, believe me, I was too. I was concerned. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be having steaks. I'm going to be spending a lot more money on my food. I'm like, okay, I'm investing in myself. But I couldn't care less at the time. I was thinking, okay, I got to recover this hand. I've got to get this thing back because I need to start working. And it's very difficult to not work for 3 months. Trust me, it's very tough, especially because you're a contractor. Myself, I'm a contractor. I don't do permanent work. So I always have to chase my work. I can't just get a salary. So at the end of the day, it was a tough thing. And I wasn't thinking about the money, right? I was thinking, I got to get healthy. And the funny thing is, I realized 3 months into it, that actually when I looked back at the finances, I'm paying half every month of what I used to pay for my food. I'm spending half the money. And I calculated, I actually went back and calculated, because I'm not buying anything else. I'm buying red meat, and on occasionally a bit of cheese. Occasionally, once in a blue moon, I'll have bacon, but that's not really anything extra. But then I'll have electrolytes. That's it, really. That's all I'm buying. I mean, there's meat, salt, water. Water's free. So at the end of the day, I'm not spending anything else. I'm not buying anything else. It's insane that I'm actually spending half of what I used to spend, and I'm having the ultimate food. Brilliant ribeye steaks and tomahawks. Ha! How can you go wrong with that? And at the end of the day, who's going to say no to a great steak? Now, look, don't get me wrong. People who are out there who are vegan, who are vegetarians, look, do your thing. If it works for you, do it for you, right? But if you look at yourself carefully, are you 100% healthy? Go do your blood takes. Go find out if you're healthy. Because 90% of people who get sick in this world don't know their bloods, don't understand what they're doing. And more importantly, out of all the people who have very heavy complications, most of those people are the ones that are not eating enough meat. It's known, it's been proven around the world. I don't have to talk about it. Speak to these doctors that I've mentioned to you to go and see. They'll tell you, they'll give you the results. Look, always look for the data. When you ask doctors about something that they tell you, say to them, show me the data. It's the most important question you can possibly ask, and then most won't be able to give you the data because they don't want to. They don't want to because they know. It's the most famous question. I always love whenever a doctor speak to a doctor about something and they say to me something that's kind of interesting. Especially one of the doctors has said to me, "No, you shouldn't be doing this lion diet because you should be having ample fiber and you should be eating your vegetables and fruits because it's better for you." I'm like, okay, show me your proof, show me the data, and I'll show you all the documents and going all the way back to 1945 that have been debunked. And when I show them the documentation and I indicate to them what they have learned, they go, huh. They start to doubt what they've been learning. So even the education system in medical industry is false. It's not doctors' fault. It's not the fault of the doctors who want to go out there and save lives. Of course not. I have major respect for doctors and nurses. Major. But it's the educational system. and it's the entire food industry, and it's the marketing and the media behind it. Absolute atrocious lies. Sorry, but you know, I love my meat. And yes, I'm going to make a t-shirt that says, I eat vegetarians, with a cow underneath. I'm not a vegetarian, I eat vegetarians. Cows eat the best possible thing in the world, grass. Grass is the most abundant thing on the planet. It's what God made the world have so that animals can eat, so they can be amazing for us. That's why they've been put on earth. And what a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. I have major respect for the beef. Major respect, because cow meat has got my life back. I've always wondered when I was a teenager why I was always so healthy. And then I look back and I think back in my memories and I'm like, wow, when I was a kid, from the ages of like, you know, when I can possibly remember going back, think back all the way till about 21, 25, I would really seriously eat a lot of meat, and I would very occasionally have vegetables and fruits, and I was much healthier. And then I'm thinking back and I'm like, what did I do? Why did I change all my ways when I was younger? What is wrong with me? Obviously, that was a choice I made that didn't go right for me. So finally, at the age of 50, I corrected it. Wow. Better late than never, right? So, yeah. So for those of you who are, wondering what this is, I mean, this whole idea was to sort of reintroduce you into the website that I said that I'll be building. And it is the goodcarnivore.com, or you can always go to it by going to don'tsayitdoit.co.uk. And this website and all this information on here is for everyone. Please, peruse through it, go through things. If that helps you, cool. If you want new things on there, let me know. But really, the proof's in the pudding. And I no longer need to talk the talk about, oh yeah, I'm going to try and get physically fit, because I was mentally okay. I'm balanced. I'm now balanced because I'm now physically able to handle things, and I've always been very strong-minded, so now I've got both, which means I'm now formidable. I am becoming the best possible ultimate human being that I can be at my particular level. And that's what I'm hoping to be. I don't want to excel and become an astronaut and go out there in space. I mean, I'd love to, but the point is, I am trying to be the best I can because I am a human being and I have the gift of life, just like everybody else. Why shouldn't you live? Why shouldn't you experience the best possible time you have on this planet instead of just existing? You know, the whole political agenda, all this nonsense about cultures, all this nonsense about gender ideology, all this craziness, you got to understand, everyone comes from different cultures and backgrounds and classes and genders. I mean, we have man and female. We have different sort of castes, all that stuff, all that cloud, what I call fog, because it really is fog. I mean, it's very difficult to see within the fog what's happening. The idea of identifying as whatever, I want to identify as a toaster, whatever, all that stuff is a mechanism for separating people's thinking and pushing their thought processes and turning them into silos, because once they break the collective, once they break you down into a person who's an individual, who only thinks about being an individual, they can manage and control you a lot easier. You see, if you become the best possible ultimate human being you can be, for yourself first, for your family next, for your friends next after that, colleagues as well, which falls within friends, for your companies, you should be, all right, when you're working with them, for your country, and within that, colleagues, friends, community. Very important. And then ultimately for the planet. And then ultimately for this universe, for God, under God, this main power that we have, which we can't explain. You see, at the end of the day, if you do that, you will be able to identify yourself with not just titles or labels, like we do in artificial intelligence. In AI and machine learning, we break down data into what we call tokens and little words, and we give them little labels so that the AI can understand how to understand and process and answer. We are not machines. Why do you insist on breaking yourself down and restricting yourself into a little silo and giving yourself that kind of identity when in fact you are much bigger than that? Why think narrow-minded? You are a human being, everybody. We are incredible. We have life. We breathe. We get up in the morning. We can breathe. Some people have a difficult time because they are medically unwell and they've got complications. Yes, because for whatever reason, that's the hand we were dealt with. But you can do things about it. The amount of people I've spoken to about this lion diet and carnivore that are going through tremendous difficulties compared to what I was going through. I mean, difficulties like stage 4 cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. And overcoming those, or at least being able to manage them better than they can with things like cancer and chemotherapy, going through chemo and still being able to handle it easier than normal, and in some cases having all of those things reversed. I don't give a damn what any medical texts or surveys or any kind of studies have been done which have been paid by pharmaceutical companies. You're absolute morons. The proof is in the pudding. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of cases out there are coming out and talking about this. We have been lied to. And it's not really the fault of these companies. They just want to make money, right? It's the fault of, well, as human beings, we need to vote and speak with our wallets. If we persist in purchasing absolute trash, I should say, or crap, then they'll keep on making that crap. If we persist in buying certain types of products, let's say we buy mostly meats and whatever, the world will start producing more of that. Instead of trying to close farmers down, instead of trying to create a narrative which then pushes people to eat processed food, which makes us unhealthier, we become more persistently addicted to drugs, and then of course the pharmaceuticals are then companies making money, which is very short term, by the way. Because you're making an assumption that mankind will continue that way, but at some point in time, that will reduce the populations down and you will no longer have customers, you morons. People need to think about health. There's only two currencies that we have in this world: health and family. In other words, your experiences, your love. It all boils down to love. That's the only two things that you will ever leave with when you leave this world. We're all going to live and die one day. Right? It would be nice if we can live longer, but you know what? The only way you can do that, or give yourself the best possible chance to live more years than you possibly could live out, and that is to absolutely build your mind and get your health under control. And I'm not saying go to the gym religiously like a crazy maniac, because maybe some people want to do that, and it's fine for most people, but not for everyone. Doesn't matter. 90% of your intake is your food. 90% of your results is your food. 10% is your workouts and your exercise plans. And a simple walk in the afternoon is great. You don't have to go and become a gym rat. Although it's a good idea, because you'll get healthier and more muscles on your body gives you just more longevity. It's been proven. And more health, more energy allows you to do things more during the day. And squeeze every second out of that day. Instead of just measly going through life and just existing. Don't you want to be the ultimate human being that you can possibly be? That's what I've done in the last 138 days, and I've turned everything I've learned upside down. It's so counterintuitive for me. I'm still battling and I'm trying to get to grips with what I've actually experienced, and I'm blown away by the results. I'm absolutely blown away. I feel amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm close to 100 kilograms, which I was 145. And I can't believe I'm there. I am pretty heavy because I was a rugby player. I've always been heavy, but muscular, right? And yeah, all that muscle gone, but it's still there. Memory is still there. The memory muscle is still there. And at some point in time, it's just I'm getting stronger, getting healthier. I have no pain anymore. I can do so many things. It's incredible. At the age of 50, I never thought I'd be like this. And I just want to give back, and that's the point of this website, and that's the point of what I'm doing these videos for, both for media, technology, lifestyle, because we're not people that can do just one thing. We can do so many things. We're human. We need to capitalize on that. You're going to have a number of years on this planet you're going to live. Don't you want to live those best years for yourself instead of just existing? Anyway, so thank you for listening to me during this video. Thank you for accepting to take on my ranting. I do get passionate. I'm sorry if you maybe get offended or any other way, because I am half Greek and South African. I've got both passions in me. Okay, so that's double passion. And at the end of the day, I'm also quite a vocal person. I always have been. I'm an exceptionally curious person, because the first word that I ever said to my mom and my dad when I was a baby apparently was the word look. I didn't even say mama, papa, none of that stuff. I said look, because I was so curious from the moment I was born. And I think that stayed with me. And really, I can't believe I let myself down so many years physically, because I look back and I realize if I had done this in my 20s or my 30s, I would be so successful today. But then, you know, hindsight analysis is wonderful, but I'm very thankful that I didn't, because now that I have done this, I probably now will appreciate it more than I would have if I was younger. So at the end of the day, I appreciate and I have gratitude, and I'm thankful for all the people that have guided me through this, because I am so thankful that I found this out in my next 50 years, because I plan to be here for another 50. Why not? I'm sure I can get there. If I work this out, if I do it correctly, if nothing else comes along my way, and if it does, whatever comes my way, I'll have an ace in my pocket. I'll have health. My body will be at the right level in the immune system to handle the storm, because this is the thing about balancing your diet as in eating the right human diet. Red meat, which we're designed to eat that. And at the same time, if you need to have a bit of fruits and veggies, very small amount, you don't have to go crazy like I did and go into the lion diet. I did it because I needed to reboot my system. Most people don't necessarily need to do that. They can go straight to the carnivore. But begin for 5 days. Do it for 5 days. Then do it for the next 5 days. Don't worry about the 7 days. Do it for 5 days. Then do it again for 5 days. Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday. Slowly get into it. Eventually your body will go, yep, I can do this for 7, then I can do it for 10, then I can do it for 15, then 20, then 30, then 60, then 90. And I promise you, by the time you realize that it's going to be 100 and whatever days. Like I'm not 138 days, and I still can't believe that I've done this. It seems to me like yesterday. And I feel absolutely incredible. I feel better than what I felt when I was younger. I'm not physically as fit and as ready to be like when I was really young and I was an athlete and I was doing stuff. But mentally, of course, I'm stronger. Obviously, I'm 50. I've learned a lot in life. But now I'm getting physically stronger. And that, to me, is an incredible balance, because that's when we are at optimal condition as human beings. When we are balanced. When you're constantly worried about your place in the world and your ideology and your genders and your labeling of yourselves and other people and whatever, you're putting yourself into that silo effect. And what you're doing is you're unbalancing yourself. And you're getting upset and angry and depressed, and you don't think with yourself. You don't appreciate everything you're doing. You don't appreciate everything everyone else is doing. You don't have that collective thought and mind process, which means there's unbalancing. And then you start doing the wrong things. You start making choices which end up becoming the wrong choices, and then it'll become too late for you one day. Balance is what human beings were designed to be. Because when we are at balance, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, if you can be, you can achieve anything because it becomes streamlined. Once you go through all the difficulties, like overcoming your fears, overcoming food intake and knowing that you can actually live without carbs, overcoming all of that, any other dangers and difficulties in life become minuscule in comparison. Minuscule. This is one of the reasons why I love Joe Rogan. One of the shows he did recently with Joe Rogan and Dr. Baker, very famous guy on Carnivores. They were discussing all of the topics, and one of them, this is why they work out, this is why they get into physique training, this is why they do jiu-jitsu, this is why they do drills and workouts, because... And then they do sauna, and then after that they do the cold dip in the cold ice water. And the reason for that is because once you go through I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and then you do it and you do all this difficult stuff and you're close to breaking your hands and your legs and whatever, and then you come out of it and you also feel amazingly great after that, anything else during the day that you have to deal with becomes tiny in comparison, and you can overcome almost anything afterwards. A captain only shows his or her true stripes during a storm, not when everything's calm, right? But that's when you're at your best, when everything's at calm stage. It's like a duck on a pond. A duck looks like it's just gliding over the water, but under the water, the legs are churning 1,000 revs a minute, okay? Human beings, once they're at that balanced stage, they're ready to pounce when they need to. And when it needs action, bang, you're into action. You don't have the stumbling, you don't have the falling over, you don't have the breaking of your body, you don't have the breaking of your mind, because you've trained yourself to handle the most complicated things first, getting yourself right. And then everything else that comes your way becomes easy, or at least manageable. So that's what this video is all about. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you to all my subscribers who are enjoying my videos and who subscribe for my channel. I appreciate that a lot. You won't believe it. It helps me with the algorithm. Those of you who are new to my channel, I would love your subscription, just because it's a little click for you. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps with the algorithm. That's all the support I would ever need. And at the end of the day, I hope this website that I built, goodcarnivore.com, or if you want to go to it via don'tsayitdoit.co.uk, that's fine. I hope it helps you. I hope it gives you some insight, and I will be building onto it every day. And any other additional videos that I make, let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of stuff you want me to do. And all these naysayers, angry people, trolls, people that are upset, people that want to say rude things and tell other people that we're doing the wrong thing, and we're a cult because we're eating any meat. It's not really the case. Look back in history, do your research, you idiots. Go back and you see mankind before 100 years used to eat predominantly meat, and we were healthier, we were taller. Despite the fact that mankind had weird illnesses and crazy outbreaks and diseases and whatever, we're still healthier, taller, and we managed to create incredible things in the world. We built infrastructure in the world to such a level today that we're living in today. And yet today, we can't do those things. Why? Because we've become weaker. Because we're not eating enough meat. We've become industrialized. We have vegetables, we have fruits, we have carbohydrates, we have wheat, we have all sorts of crazy stuff, which effectively has changed mankind. Yes, we've adapted. Our bodies have adapted, but not very well. Because we're getting sicker while we're adapting. That's not optimal condition. Optimal condition is when you're eating the best possible food you can think of. And by the way, when you do your research, you'll realize that the enzymes and the minerals and the benefits of red meat, what is inside there, completely surpasses every possible conceivable other thing on the planet. Once you start, just try it. 30 days. Out of your entire lifespan, what's 30 days of your life? Can you imagine if you just achieve one thing of a benefit, just one benefit? Imagine being 1% better than you were yesterday, or 1% better than you were last year. Isn't that enough? Think about it mathematically in your mind. Don't you want to be 1% better? Well, I guarantee you're going to be at least 100% better compared to what you are now. You'll improve by 100%. It's insane the amount of benefits you're going to get. So hopefully all these things help you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking my rantings and my ravings. I don't expect people to think that I've actually let people down. I love everybody. I think everyone's amazing. Don't define yourself by your ideologies and your labels and your genders and your cultures and your race and your whatever, your color, whatever. Don't define yourself that way. You're all incredible human beings, and you need to become the ultimate human beings that you can be for yourselves, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your community, your country. All under whatever God, whatever spiritual life you have. Because when you do that, you're a human being that has a purpose, You're a human being that's living and not existing. And you're a human being that can achieve things that you wouldn't believe would be possible in your lifetime. So, once again, my name is Dimitrios from OBIPIXEL Limited in the UK. And today, my brands of goodcarnivore.com and, of course, don't say it, do it.co.uk. That was a quick change in the hat. Thank you for your time, and I'm signing out.